here in our conference. The floor is yours. I hope you can see us also. There is some problem with the sound.
Now do you hear?
Oh, now we can hear you very well.
Okay, there's always a problem with the sound. Hopefully I will start my presentation. I'm not really sure how. No. I think I have to share my screen. Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, you are very welcome to share your presentation on screen.
Okay. So, just a second. I think I'm good now. Is it okay?
Okay, presentation is online. We can see it, but oh yeah, now everything is great. You can start, please.
Okay, I'm not really good at sharing a presentation. But anyway, thank you for inviting me to your conference. I'm really sorry that I cannot be physically there because there's a lot going on in Romania in this moment. So we have government meetings a couple of times a week. So it was impossible for me to travel. But anyway, I'm really glad I can share my experience and Romania's experience related to the DRS. I'd like to thank Ms. Anna Larsson for inviting me, and I hope that you'll have a fruitful meeting and good lessons will be learned from each other. As you mentioned, Romania has a population at about 20 million people, 19 million to our last counting. We are still losing population. Many Romanians are living to the Western Europe, but it definitely has some particularities. We have almost half of the country in the rural area, and we have a lot of area to manage. So the country is quite big. We have every form of environment. We have mountains. We have the Danube. We have the Danube Delta, the Black Sea. So it won't be easy. It will be definitely. It will be a really hard task. Just to understand, the DRS will be present on top of our mountains at altitudes higher than 1,005 meters, and it will also be present in the Danube Delta, where there is no way to reach it but with a boat. So we didn't do any exceptions. The DRS will be the second largest system in Europe after the German one. So on our estimations, we talk about more than 6 billion containers per year. But what I'm hoping for is to find out that we'll have even more containers that are put on the market but are not counted as we speak. So a lot of plastic, it ends up in the nature. So pictures like this we see on TV year, every year. So after we have some high waters, after we have some floods, thousands, hundreds of tons of plastic just end up in the lakes, in the Black Sea, in the Danube, and so on. We had some determinations of the quality of the water, and we found plastic in a mountain lake. It's called Siriu. It's in Buzău County, and it is a mountain lake which is on an altitude higher than 1,000 meters. And even in that mountain lake, we found a lot of plastic in the water and in the sediments. We found microplastic. So, of course, that one of the ways we are hoping to comply to all the EU objectives related to the waste management is having the DRS. I understand completely that the DRS system will not solve all our problems, but at least for a small part of the recyclable, for the beverage packaging, what we are hoping for is that we won't have the shameful numbers that we have so far. We are reaching 12, 13, maybe 14% now as a waste that it's collected separately and that goes to the recycling factories. So what we are hoping for is not to have only the second biggest system in Europe, but also to function, to have good numbers at the end of each year, and to make it better and better each year. I just came from retailers because every week I'm visiting some retailers, and what I'm hoping for is that they will comply, they will invest in the RVM machines. Today I visited this morning it's called Mega Image. It's a really big retailer chain. It has 1,000 shops in Romania, and they already installed in more than 400 RVMs from what I have been told. And what they are hoping for is that they will finish installing all the machines they need to have the most part of the shops using automated taking of the bottles. We do have some infringement procedures that we are in front of the European Court of Justice. Some of them are related to the way that we manage our waste. And as I told you before, of course, that we don't hope that the DRS will, do I have to do something? I'm checking the messages. I hope you hear me well.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So anyway, every day when I come to the ministry, I ask my colleagues, not because I don't know, but just to be sure that they do know how many days we have left until the DRS will be live. So we have 64 more days this morning. So I'm quite happy because this has been such a long road. As I will show you in a second. So we had an initial timeline. So of course, we are talking about DRS for ages, but the first serious discussion was made in 2018. It was made through an emergency ordinance that amended the law. And what the law said is that by January 1st, 2021, we should have a DRS system for beverages containers, beverage containers of glass, plastic, and metal, with all the volumes between 100 milliliters and 3 liters. For beer, beverages, cider and juices, and mineral water and whatever, wines and spirits, that we have so many discussions with the wine industry. So unfortunately, since 2018, it was delayed. It was delayed a lot. So we missed the first target. Then we had a different starting point to the first of October 2022, and then it was delayed again to 30th of November this year. And just a couple of weeks ago, days anyway, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago, we received 44 pages of reasons that the system cannot start on the 30th of November. It was obviously written by really good lawyers, and what they were basically telling is that there is no way for the system to start on the 30th of November, so they asked for another delay for another 3 months of delay. So anyway, I read all those pages, and I talked to my colleagues, and I talked to my colleagues, to the ministers, and I talked to the Prime Minister, and what we all agreed is that we cannot accept another delay of the DRS. So it will happen this year. It will happen starting 30th of November. I understand completely that it's not an easy task. It started with a lot of troubleshooting in each country, but there's no way we can postpone it again. So I informed them unofficially, I informed them officially. I made sure that everybody understands, the producers, the retailers, my colleagues, everybody understands that on the 30th of November, we should put the first beverage container in an RVM machine, or maybe I will go in a shop that is collecting manually, who knows. But anyway, the political decision of the Ministry of Environment, Waters and Forests, and as well as the technical decision, is not to delay it anymore. And what I'm hoping for, that in those 64 days and 64 nights they still have, they will not waste any second, and they will use all the time they had in order to not to have the system established, but for it to work. We are worried about the IT system. We are worried about all the investments that still needs to be done. They should have been done already, but they haven't. So we have like 5 really big sorting and counting facilities all over Romania. So, and at the end we will have 17. And I have been told that only one of these facilities is well established and it can work. But anyway, I hope that everybody understood that we will not delay it, we will not cancel it, we will not expect anybody to comply. My job is to write down legislation, and their job is to respect it and to use it accordingly. And I hope that on the 1st of December we will have good news uh, about the system in Romania. Okay. So just a few words on our DRS system. It's a company, but even though it's a company, it's written in the establishing papers that it's not for profit, so they cannot make profit. It's centralized. It's national. So the owners of the company are basically the brewers and the soft drinks. They both have 60% of the company. Also, the retailers own 20%, and the state, throughout the Ministry of Environment, has 20%. I'm not sure about the reasons why the state is owning a part of Returo, but anyway, it was the decision that it was made. So it's the way it is now. It's not something that is worrying us or is wrong, but from my understanding is that the state should be a supervisor of the system and not really the owner of the system. But anyway, we have what we have. What we are hoping for is that the system will work, and it will have, as I told you, good results. So we have a lot of troubleshooting with the wine industry. We have so many meetings. I'm telling you this because the wine is in the list I'm just showing you. So the wine industry gave me 1,000 reasons not to participate in the DRS system. They told me that so many countries don't have the glass in the system. So many countries, even if they have the glass, they don't have the wine and the spirits. But anyway, our legislation now takes into consideration the volumes I told you about earlier and all the drinks that are shown on the screen. So we have beer, all the beverage mixes, cider, other fermented beverages, juices, nectars, soft drinks, water, wines, and spirits. So I will meet today. I will meet the Tetra Pak industry that is hoping that somehow will join our DRS system. I'm not sure if this is feasible at the moment, at least. But what I'm hoping for is that after we will find out that the system is working, that we can expand it even further. And I'm dreaming about a system that will also use, we will also manage reusable packaging. And when I say reusable, I mean, first of all, at reusable glass in the drinks industry. Of course, that a DRS system has no limits. I mean, there are some technical limits of the DRS machine, but the technology is moving so fast. So once we have the backbone of the system, once we have the skeleton, then I'm sure that a lot of good things for environment, of course, can be made using what we have. These are the targets. They are not really ambitious, at least for the first year, but it was a negotiation. I understand that it takes a while for the system to function properly. So we have 65% for the first year, not really ambitious. But anyway, starting the second year and the third year, I think that the numbers we are hoping for are accordingly to the high expectations of every other state. So the responsibilities and obligation, the administrator, it's issued the organization plan, it first fills the return for recycling targets, it makes a lot of reporting. We haven't decided yet if it will be 3 times a year or 2 times. It will fund the DRS scheme. So they just made a huge loan in order to finance it. They will pick up the return material, and this is a headache because there is so much area that the system will need to cover. I'm not. I hope that the small shops, especially in the rural areas, will not suffer because of the time they have to wait until the system will pick up the material. So they will organize the sale of the recyclable. They will close. They will write down contracts with producers and retailers. Many of the things already happened. Some of them didn't. We will start in about a month a public awareness campaign. My colleagues from the communication direction in the ministry said that it's looking good. Also, we have a percent. I think it's between 1.5 and 2% of the income of the system should be used on public awareness. I hope I'm telling you the exact figures. So for the producers and the importers, they have to mark the packaging with the national barcode. They have, of course, to pay the deposit fee and the administration fee to have a written contract with the system administrator and to report separately. The retailers, I think I visited about 3 or 4 big chain of retailers so far. So they are in the middle of complying. they are really optimistic and they understood that there's no way around it. So they have to organize the return points to pay and reimburse the deposits, to communicate on the shelf the value of the deposit separately, to protect and hand over the collected DRS packaging, and to prohibit the sale of unregistered products, and of course to inform the companies. So we have some regulation for returning points. So everybody who sells beverages, they have to organize a return points. For retailers under 200 square meters, they can make a partnership. So if they do so, they have to be at no more than 150 meters in the urban areas, and no more than 500 meters in the rural areas. Because one of the things I truly believe in is that the system should be accessible. So no people has to make a really big effort to bring back the beverage containers, because they already make an effort. So they pay the deposit fee, they block their money, they get the containers back to the shop. So people are doing enough, in my opinion. So there is no way that we can complicate even more what they have to do. So the collection will be automated or manual, and for manual collection they will pay cash, and for the RVM machines they would emit vouchers that you can use in the shops, or just go and transform them into money. Oh, this is a really complicated scheme. So, but basically, the system works as well as it works in every other country. So we try to understand all the good things that happened in other countries. What were the best practices? What were the good lessons? And of course, that we were really interested in what didn't work, and what are the things that that were just not working in other countries. So I read that our legislation looks good. It's ambitious. It's correct. It's correct for the producers, for the retailers, for the population. And now, if the legislation is good, all I can hope for is that it will be applied accordingly, and the system will work. I don't have to tell you the benefits of the DRS system. I'm sure that you know it better than me. But Romania has some particularities. When we only collect separately 13% of our waste, and Romania is producing 6 million tons of municipal waste each year. And when I see all the rivers, and when I go in a waste facility, and when I see all the plastic that ends up just being deposited and not ending up in the industry, that gives me headaches. So of course that we need to comply the EU legislation. Of course we don't have to be subject of infringement procedure. But when we talk about DRS, we talk about jobs, we talk about industry, we talk about circularity, we talk about preventing pollution. So only good things are happening because of the DRS. And of course, that everybody is wondering, when you read all the good things that are happening, why didn't we do it 20 years ago? Or why doesn't every country in Europe has a DRS system? Anyway, I'm optimistic. I'm positive. I hope and I think that everybody understood that there is no room for delay. There is no room not to make it. There is no room for postponing it. So the system will start this year, and I hope that I can share with you in December that the system is really working, and we will be really glad to present the numbers. Okay, so anyway, I think I can stay for 20 more minutes. So if there are any questions, you can ask me now. I think we do have a question. How is the collection of waste beverage packaging organized now before? So now it goes with the municipal flow. It should be separated. So we have in every village, every city, different fractions. Some of them collect them separately, like paper, metal, and plastic. Some of them not. So basically, what's happening now is most of the PET ends up being dumped or ends up in the nature. Of course, that we have the extended responsibility of the producer. We have some organisms that are taking this responsibility, but the truth is that we are not really good at municipal collecting. We are not really good at recycling. And when I visit recycling facilities for PET, and when I see PET that it has been shipped from Australia to Romania, and we have 100,000 tons that we dump it in the waste fields. It's complicated. So the VAT should be charged? No, the deposit will not be charged with the VAT. This is a discussion I had to have with the Ministry of Finance this week, but we will have the next week this discussion. But what I hope for is that no VAT will be charged for the deposit. This is what I think it should be, what I think it should happen. Okay.
To make it more clear for the audience here in person, the Mr. Fechet is now answering the questions which came in online. So, yeah, thank you very much for that.
Sure.
I also have one personal remark for you as a newcomer to the DRS family. You mentioned that you have quite low expectations on those collection rates, but I think they are very, very high. Actually, they are very ambitious for such a large nation, and also for considering your territorial size. 65% is quite a big number. We'll show how we did the first year, and yeah, that is to say to you that actually it would be very good if you could really reach that in the first year. But I have also one question regarding what you mentioned about the retailers and their involvement in the system. You mentioned that it is possible for retailers if the store size is under 200 square meters, that they can build partnerships with other shops of the same size or with municipalities. I was wondering how many municipalities are involved in this process. Do you have the number maybe?
To be honest, seeing how poor the municipalities manage the waste system in general, I'm not expecting to have a lot of partnership between municipalities and the shops. So we will see some partnerships, maybe to different shops, to invest in a single collecting point that would be placed in one of the shops, or maybe in the middle of the distance between those two shops. But I wanted to leave this possibility in the legislation, but I'm not expecting a lot of situation where we will have partnerships between shops and the public administration. This is what I think it will happen, but we'll see. Somebody's asked me who's the owner of the containers and so the owner will be the DRS system, the company, the Returo system. They will have the ownership of the containers, and after they will sell them, it will be an income for the company, as well as the unredeemed deposit, and as well as the fees that they will charge the industry fees. So they will participate to the income of the company. Hopefully I answered your question.